Record. So hi, this is Angie and Rupert, building bridges for Hampstead and checking in and just updating with each other as much as anybody that's supporting ending child abuse. So it's good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm in a weird mood.
Okay. Okay.
Should I explain?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I've had to reevaluate what my role is to a certain extent because I'm seeing some roadblocks. First of all, I've got family members completely freaking out on me now. They don't want me to have anything to do with this. And then I've had to step back and look at everybody like everybody is not telling the truth. So, or everybody is telling the truth and everybody has a little piece of the truth. So pursuant to that, I just wanted to say, first of all, I don't think Muslims are going to blow me up, one, if I'm in Europe. Two, anybody that has an opinion about any of this stuff is more than encouraged to provide links. I have a giant file now full of links, and I seem to get 2 or 3 every day of something else somebody's written about all this. So, I mean, if we can all just go ahead and admit there's a problem, that'd be fine. The other thing is, like, we'll talk about those other people in a bit, but I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. My whole thing is I just want the story, and this is turned into I'm part of the story. I don't have anything to do with this. Let me just also say this, and then this is the end of this particular statement. I have no recorded history of breaking and entering. I have no recorded history of assault. And I have no history of anything that would be a danger to anybody. It's not on record that I am that person. So when I made the first video, all of you act like I knew you were going to watch it. When I make a video, I assume nobody's going to watch it. So,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, I didn't mean to pick on British people for their food and their teeth, and I didn't mean I was gonna kick somebody's church door down. I've got more sense than that. If anybody has anything reasonable to say that isn't hyperbole or isn't some kind of ad hominem attack on me, write it down and send me a link. It's gonna end up in the story. And what the point is if one group is right, then you'll be proven right, and if one group is wrong, they'll be proven wrong. And then if it's just so murky and cloudy that you can't tell, then I'll have to report that. But my job is to get the story so that people understand it, so that they get other people involved. Because at the end of the day, it's little kids we're talking about. Like, I remember what it's like being a little kid. I'm sorry that you might not, but I still do, and it bothers me. So if, you can try to cause as much trouble for me at the airport as you want, but I can provide in excess of 200 testimonials from people that I'm fine to go walking around in another country.
Okay, thanks. Anything else on that?
I mean, we can get into some of those other people later, but no, the whole thing's got me bummed out. Like, I put up that GoFundMe, and then people just started stuffing money in it, and that's kind of, and like somebody made a meme about it, and yeah, I am kind of having a moment where, like, oh my god, this is real. Like, somebody's more than once stuck $100 in there. Like, people are worried. Like, that to me says that there's something real about it. But I've been told, well, everybody that gave you money is gonna go to jail and all this stuff, and it's like all I want to do is go get the story. Like, I'm not interested in going after any particular person. I would love to speak to any and everybody that has anything to do with any of these cases, not just the Hampstead case. I'm just talking about this. What I want to do, basically, what has happened is what I want to happen. It's already started to happen. I haven't even taken the trip yet. is people keep going, well, isn't there abuses? Aren't there abuses over here? Bingo. That's my whole point, is that there's little kids, like, let's put it this way. Children make up a quarter of the population here in America, and they have no vote. They have no voice. They have no, and they're like, you're not allowed to beat on adults, but to a certain extent, you can beat your children. They're your kids. They're under 18, and they're sort of like your property. So a lot of kids do get treated like property. And it's like, well, in this country, 25% of the people don't have a vote. A quarter of the population is huge. There are no other groups that big, unless you want to break it down to like men and women or something really simple like that. But kids don't have a say in a lot of stuff. And I still remember that frustration. And I remember looking at adults and knowing that they had forgotten everything about this. And they would even when I was 5, I was a good communicator. I could explain to them what I was going through or what I was seeing. So that's that. I'm still basically a little kid, and little kids can spot that in me. So people saying that I'm not allowed to work with kids, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I've been teaching children for almost 20 years.
Okay, can I address that? What you
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things. There's two things. If people are slandering whistleblowers or even sympathizers such as yourself so maliciously, there's two things that can be about. One is that it's the truth that we're going after, and so it's a case of disarm us and disable us at any cost. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that the grown-ups in the case are all cooperating in a big psyop. So one's being the bad guy, the others appearing to be the good guys, exposing the bad guys, and they may all have the same agenda to make a mess and make a chaos.
Well, I mean, sorry.
No, it's okay. It could be that they are trying. The thing you said, and I totally get it, about there's enough kids in America need your help. Why would you rush off to England? And when I worked with others for 2 or 3 years for a little orphanage in Kenya, that was into, when money was really tight with people, there was a lot of that kind of thing too. Why send money to Africa when there's homeless kids in Ireland? And that's why one of the reasons we put 10% of the funds raised back into our community. But the point that I can't remember who it was in Australia, somebody said it's time for us to cooperate globally on this issue, because certain things that we in Australia can't expose or aren't getting listened to about, you guys can publicise. We'll do the same for yours. And that way we're geographically out of reach for being shut down very quickly. So I do appreciate, to us, it amazed me when your first video, you said, what the hell is going on in Britain? Why is everybody doing that to children? It amazed me because I was thinking of the Franklin cover-up and the McMartin case and so on. So it's not exclusively a British issue, although I do think sodomy is part of the British.
Well, that's why I think there's a lot of smoke going on with some of the people, because with the Franklin case and with some of the other stuff over here, typically when that goes down in your community, even if you even if you know what's going on, or you kind of know what's going on or something like that, you distance yourself from it. The fact that the people of Hampstead, or whoever those people are so adamant, either means that, somebody's not telling the truth over there. And that case is, as far as I can tell, is sucking up way too many resources. It seems like a straw man.
That's why it could be a psyop.
Right. So it's it's taking up too much attention, but everybody thinks because I'm investigating stuff that I think all these things. The same thing with my YouTube channel. It's like, I'm talking about these things and existing within its paradigm. It doesn't mean I believe it in my heart. It's just ridiculous. I have to waste checking Twitter now is not any fun. Like when I go in, there's always just 10 notifications of people deriding me, and I don't even want to go into that. But the other thing that keeps coming up is that people think that I want to take a vacation. Okay, let me address that. There's a warm, sunny place within driving distance of me called Florida. I used to live there. I know people there. It's really easy for me to get around there. I love it. There's people there. There's sunshine and beaches and seagulls and wildlife, alligators. I like it there. It makes my skin feel really good to be in that humid climate. I've been to England in the summer. It was cloudy. It only rained once, and it was cloudy the entire time, and it was kind of, I loved it. I hated leaving, and I didn't like coming back, but, I loved it. I loved it while I was there. I got to stay in some really cool places. I got to drive a car. I got to, I got to ride over the Abbey Road thing, and that was really cool. I love British musicians and all the sights and the way I feel when I think about England and the way I feel when I get there. I love it. But I don't know. I guess in some of that funny, mean stuff I do, people think that's who I am, and all I am is someone who's kind of curious and let's make it real life. Like, if I saw somebody doing something to a kid, I would definitely not, go look at this video. There's a video that just came out of these New Yorkers. They got this old man, I think it's street theater, but they got this old man, and he has a child bride, and they look like they're getting married out in the street. And New Yorkers do not play around with that stuff. There's a couple of instances where people split those two up. So, that's really what, I don't know. I'm tired of explaining myself. But as for people think I'm taking a vacation, I could think of a lot better places to go fight. Like, I could go to there's problems in Australia. Why wouldn't I want to go down there in the wintertime and warm up? England, it's really neat. But as far as, vacationing, I could think of a lot better things to do. Because, they're going to harass me in the airport. And that's just, if they stop me from coming in the country, then I basically have a 20-hour round trip, transcontinental round trip, that proves that they won't even let me come visit. That's how nasty that's going.
Yeah.
You want to make, okay, look, I will buy the tickets. Once that fundraising's over, I will buy the round trip tickets. I will have money in my pocket so they don't think I'm trying to come over there and leech off them. I will have everything set up so that it looks like I'll get affidavits and everything to hand people when I get off the plane, so they know that I'm not going to do. Why would I do that? I wouldn't go into someone's country and just start screwing stuff up.
Yeah,
it's not my thing. I'm fun. I don't know about you. The people who make fun of me all day, you guys aren't funny, which means you aren't fun. I'm fun. Even when I'm fighting evil, I'm a blast.
I know you are. And I want to just, it's the case of a small lobby making a huge propaganda campaign. Like, you and I and many others are handling the misinfo, disinfo, lies, libel, defamation that's pumping out of this horrible little Hampstead site. We're handling it like they are the British public. They are a small, tiny, tormented, oppressed, evil group of people pumping stuff out, and they're pretty good at it in terms of, because obviously, some of the players have been selling porn globally, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So they know how to use social media. They are trying to do social engineering and make people believe bullshit. And I don't mean to be controversial, but it's similar to the gay lobby. If you look at the stats of how many gay people there are, and yet they were so good at their lobby that they got laws changed. It became impolitically correct to even say, oh, I wouldn't be too comfortable with that, or that, that's a bit weird to me, or whatever. It's social engineering at its best, and it's pumping out from a tiny percentage of people, and it's taking way too much of our time.
I don't think that's really the case. I think the gay lobby happened because there are now enough people And, you know, just statistically, there's going to be enough people that, and some of them are going to be gay. And now that it's okay to be gay. And
But it is.
right.
It
And
is.
what I'm saying is these people are not, I mean, they do have that kind of a push, but I don't even want to go that far. In my mind, I never want to think the worst of anybody I meet. Everybody I see, I try to see the good in them. And so when I see people coming at me, I try to give them the dignity of maybe they're just pissed that I'm saying their town's name. Because that would tick me off if somebody was, you know, running their mouth about, if it was a British person running their mouth about my hometown and something happened there, I might feel a little familiarity and some contempt. So I just try to think that that's what they're doing. I'm really trying not to think the worst thing and then prove it. I'm not trying to prove that they're this or that.
I married a gay guy, Quentin de Chalfont Mims. He lives with a congressman in Washington. I married a gay guy in America, so, you know, and if any of my kids said to me, Mom, I'm gay, I wouldn't go, oh, be gone, never darken my doorstep. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about social engineering in terms of chicken or egg. Did the gay community rise to its heights of influence in so many arenas? Or did it arise because there were so many gay people, or was the gay agenda a social engineering project? So that's another story, that's another issue. But I do think Hampstead are making us believe that they represent the British public, and they don't. The British public supports you. They're excited. They're chuffed that an American guy who's got a pretty successful career and doesn't need to come over here is actually willing to take the time out and come take a look. I asked Ed Opperman to do his private investigator stuff on Dearman, and we've already had some brilliant stuff done on Dearman's IP addresses and, you know, pornography and all the rest of it. But I asked Ed Opperman, would he take a look see? He wanted 5,000 retainer. So believe you me, if people are picking holes in you because you said, hey, throw a couple $1,000 over here, I'll get on a plane, it's bullshit. It's a waste of our energy even defending why you're not wasting, you know, why you're not a beggar. It's a whole conversation that's a waste of time. Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks, Angie, for that very long rant that went nowhere. Gay people, first of all, gay people don't darken up doorsteps, they rainbow them up. You know, they step in, they don't darken your doorstep, they step in there, and that all of a sudden it just becomes fabulous. So no, I'm not trying to break your balls. Just let's keep
I don't have a
conversation rolling. Like I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, yeah, those of you who don't, like, I appreciate it. Like it makes me sad that people donate. Like I wish that thing was still sitting at 0, so that I wouldn't have any. I feel like I have some responsibility now, and that's real. So. Especially the people who donated anonymously, those are the ones that I feel the worst for, because they're the one. $100, that's not small potatoes. I could eat off of that for weeks. So
yeah,
that. And then I have kept I have detailed records of what's going in there. I'm not a, you know, but you guys, if it doesn't. I'm just gonna leave that thing up until it reaches its goal, and if that takes a year, it takes a year. But the faster, the better. I want to get this over with. The other thing is, you know, I'm gonna go back to work. Like, I've been fortunate enough. I'm single. I don't have any children, so I can just kind of, you know, I live like a soldier basically. I just kind of ration food out, and I do push-ups and run all day. And then do videos, and I've been going to job interviews and stuff, and I've got some pretty good ones. Some jobs that look like they're lined up, but I don't know. I'd really rather just do this. It's much more exciting. Gets my blood pumping. But I woke up this morning feeling awful.
Just on the thing, if I can address it without being accused of ranting or being irrelevant, when I was raising money for my son to go to Florida, for surgery, I had that same fear about, oh shit, there's people have donated anonymously. How am I going to handle that if he doesn't go? and it's a responsibility. But he did go. But there are, I don't know if GoFundMe does it, but there's another one that does it where if you don't do what the goal was, say for instance you decided, you know what, this is too much hassle, I'm not going to London, you can just refund people.
No, what I'll do is I'll make a video. If I don't end up, I have a feeling that money will show up. I mean, the thing was only up for 2 days, and there's almost $400 in there. So I mean, we'll give it a little bit longer and see. You know, we're about quarter of the way? No, almost a quarter of the way there. So that's fast. Yeah, that's fast enough for me. That first video was done over a year ago. So.
Okay, there's a couple of other things I'd like to cover in this. Is there anything else that you want to address?
So far, it's hard for me to think under the gun like that, but yeah, I don't like fundraising. I wish if I just had the money, I'd just be over there already. But if I was working, I could just take a vacay, but I had to stop. People don't understand. Like I don't care. I don't really care what people think of me, but every once in a while, you need to take a break. If you're fortunate enough to have a situation where people aren't super dependent on you, which is very autonomous and smart to do. Take a little break. Like, save up some money and take a little break. Don't even go anywhere. Have a staycation. And try not to worry about it. Like, I had to take a mental health break. It's just working for narcissists and having to deal with, I don't mind dealing with the public, but when you got, well, I'll go into that later. I was serious. I'm always, everywhere I go, it sucks, man. Everybody, I am kind of a dumbass, but I'm smart too. Like I'm a smart dumbass. Like I got a little bit of something up here, and people just, I don't know how to handle it. I never have. My parents didn't know how to handle it either, and it's just like everybody thinks I'm gunning for them or something. And I'm like, just want to have fun. I just want to have fun with people. I want to feel respect from people, and I want to show respect and feel respect from people.
Yeah, man.
All right, that's it. That's about me. What else you got? Go ahead.
Okay, a couple of things. Well, I made the video about red flags and boundaries to do with Hampstead, and I remembered a couple of other things that I had questions about, so I just want to use this platform to put them out there as well. One is there was a guy doing the interviewing as well as Abraham. He was from Northern Ireland, and he was called Finbar, and he promised the children on camera that we're sorry you've been through such hell. We believe you and we're going to protect you, and this is not going to happen again on our watch. And then he disappeared.
What do you mean he disappeared? He went. Did you check in Loch Ness? No, wait, that's Scotland.
I'm not asserting that he's dead. I'm just saying it's strange to me that he went off the radar.
Well, check this out. There's a guy, I hate to bring him up because he's kind of dormant right now in his video making. He's busy doing stuff, but the activist Charlie Veach, somebody, when I come over there, he and I will link up and do videos about this stuff because he did the Holly Gregg stuff, and that was supposedly another one that was put up as a front to cover something else up. But anyway, he used to work with a guy named Danny Shine, and Charlie's a good bullhorner, but Danny Shine is a superb bullhorn artist, I guess I'll call him. He's really good at it. And some of his political statements in public garnered him threats to his children. They said, if you keep this up, we're just going to take your kids. And so he quit. And that's probably what happened. It seems like everybody who has their kids threatened, people freak out, man. And I don't blame them either, man. It's your kids.
The thing is, if it's true what Gabriel and Elisa were saying on camera, which millions of people believe is true, it's no longer a case of protecting our kids individually, like, oh, I'll just protect my kids, I can't be worrying about your kids. Then if it's as insidious as the children said it was, the children named 9 schools in and around Hampstead where there's a network of this going on. It's the same as in the 80s, the children's homes. They were all over England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. It wasn't just one children's home. So there's somebody, a film guy that worked for the BBC and ITV, and he has evidence of, he filmed them blocking up the tunnels shortly after it came out in February. But then he received death threats. Somebody sat in a pub in Hampstead with him and said, "You better keep your mouth shut or your life's not safe." He did a video with me, a video interview, and he same thing again. I'm coming back to work. I'm new to computers. He said he didn't know I was recording, but he was cool with it. It was absolutely fine. He was an activist in the area as well and a survivor. And with 100 views, a copper turned up. First of all, Dearman writes under the video, "A fiver says I can get this taken down." Within hours, there's coppers at his door threatening him, ringing his wife's cell phone.
Just pull your camera out and tell him what's up. So you got a warrant. I mean, you got to know how to talk to cops. Do you have a warrant? Am I being detained? Like,
exactly. And there's evidence of people pretending to be coppers. Sorry, the neighbour's getting a new kitchen. There's evidence of people pretending to be coppers that are not coppers. They're retired or they're something else.
yeah, I mean, there's bad factions of people doing something all over the place, and I don't know. The people who are trying to impede investigation are the ones who are making themselves look guilty. But like I said, if you have something to say, drop a link and it'll go in with the others. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to be done collecting links, but at some point I will have to go through and thoroughly read. I'm still scanning over this stuff to see what's there and what's not. The fact people have donated just gives creed to all of it. Even the disinfo is evidence. This is just a case where I have become part of the story, and that's kind of stupid. It's very gonzo. It's very It's very Fear and Loathing in London, but...
Are you wanting to go? Because there's a couple... It's just a good platform, Rupert, to get some more info out. But are you tired? Do you want to go?
No, I'm fine. I just got up. Well, actually, I got up hours ago because I couldn't sleep. Like, some mornings I wake up just kind of wishing that World War III had broken out around me so that the chaos around me would match the chaos within me.
Okay. Amen. I know exactly what you're saying. Well, I'm going to tell you some good news first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I woke up and I find this awful thread. I'm so naive and gullible. A woman, I told you about this, or I said it in my last video. A woman contacted me. Is there any truth in the Hampstead rumours that you're a charity scammer? And I thought this is a nice human being who's coming to the person being gossiped about and saying, what's the story? And so I innocently said no, and this is why they're doing it, and da-da-da. And she said, well, what about this David one? I'd like to contribute to him. And I thought she meant David Shurter, who's a whistleblower about Omaha, Nebraska. So it turns out she wants to know about David of the Kenya Project. So I give her his bank details. I give her the way I transfer my money every month via Asimo. I give her his email address. I give her his Facebook profile, and I say, give it to him direct. Don't waste time giving it to me, losing money converting sterling to euro, and then euro to Kenya shillings. Just give it to him direct. And it was a sting. She was somebody trying to trap me. And so I don't know if it's Dearman or who it was. And then she starts ranting, and unlike you, I keep my word. I don't skim profits off of it. And I'm like, lady, I've just told you, give it to the project in Kenya direct. Don't even put me in the middle. And you're trying to tell me. And she says, look, if it turns out to be all lies from Hampstead, I will defend you to the last. So then I find out, sorry to go, I'm a bit long-winded. Never mind, it's an Irish thing. Then I find out these guys are serious. Do you know what they did? They had the director of Africa Aid. All right. Okay. It's kind of do you know that's rude.
They had the director of Africa Aid do what?
They had the director of aid to Africa contact this little bitty orphanage in Kenya that I support to ask him how he knew me. And the director of aid to Africa promised, after he spoke to David, and David said, oh, she's been supporting us for years and this, that and the other. He says, oh, well, I'll get you some government support, no problem. David's never heard from him since. The guy the orphanage guy. So who's the liar? You know, like, why are you going after me? I raised 10 grand here, 20 grand there. blah, blah, blah. Why don't you go after Live Aid or the World, Health Organization, or Aid to Africa, or Comic Relief, or Sports Relief, or Esther Ranson? Why the fuck are they coming after small fry, relatively speaking, like you and me?
Oh, they can actually talk to us, They can actually get a hold of us, and they know they get a response from us. You can't really go after Live Aid too easily, or Farm Aid, or any of those other, UNICEF. Like, UNICEF ain't the greatest organization ever. Over here we have a Goodwill. Recently, well, you donate to Goodwill, and they pay people minimal wages to sift through this stuff and put it out and price it and ring it up. And the CEO makes like, couple $1,000,000 a year or something like that. It's ridiculous. The guy that owns it, it's not Goodwill at all. It's basically like all of their merch comes in for free. It's like a service they're providing, but they're still taking money.
Yeah, it's like when they're finger pointing at us, the three fingers pointing back at them are much more interesting. But the good news is, if you wanted to come, I can get your ticket tomorrow, because I'm not sucking you in. I'd rather people contribute generally to it, but I could, because I'm wading through all this shit of, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then I get a phone call to say there's a few thousand in my account as an interim payment from my sister's estate. A good few thousand, and my children have got money from my sister's estate, and I would rather have my sister still alive, but the financial pressure I've been under, which has been horrific, which is like, I joke, but I say, like, 2 Saturdays ago I ran out of cigarettes, and you better believe it, I'm broke when I run out of cigarettes. So the financial pressure's off me, because from my beautiful sister, who was, murdered, I believe. So anyway, so if you want to come, the money's there. I don't have
throw it in the thing. Like, if you want to, like, don't like, go get your cigarettes or whatever. People make fun. I like how people pick up on your little idiosyncrasies in mine. Like, you like cigarettes, and then let's just talk about the whole peas and carrots being separated thing. They keep talking about that in the Twitter thing, and that's actually, I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but that's actually an inside family joke about my mom. She's a little picky about what's on her plate and stuff, so that's probably one of the first jokes I ever knew, was that it was kind of funny that mom's a little picky about how she puts her stuff on her plate. So when you guys are laughing about that, it just makes me, they're making jokes about I can afford a carrot pea like separator, that's so funny. Like, you guys think that you guys are trying to hurt my feelings. Y'all are making me laugh more than I ever have. It's just like, it's not funny because you're trying to laugh at me, but I just think I love you anyway. Like, you hate me, I love you anyway. I don't care. I love everybody. I don't care. Like, everybody's just doing something, like whatever they think is right or whatever. I understand that. So even if you hate me, I still love you anyway.
Good for you. And the other two things I wanted to get out. One was the thing about where is Finbar, and how dare you publicly promise those children that you would protect them to the death, and then you go under the radar. Same thing to Happy. And then the other thing is, Jake, did you see that interview I did with that young lad called Jake?
No, I don't think I've seen that yet.
Okay, so he's a really lovely youngster that his mum and dad are going with him to the next court case to do with Hampstead. He's rallying up people. He's using social media, reaching hundreds of thousands. He's part of the anonymous group. He's just a youngster that's full of idealism. And after he did an interview with me, Hampstead made 2 malicious videos about him. So I don't even look at Hampstead, but he went to the police station. He called the police. And the police, so he's going back with either a legal team or adults with influence, and he's going to film, because what they said to him was, oh, we don't take complaints about cyberbullying, just complain to YouTube. But on YouTube,
I mean, it just depends on where the cyberbullying happened. If your town or whatever has anti-cyberbullying laws, then you can take it up with them. And if you can prove that the IP address is in your town, then they can probably trace it, unless somebody's really well firewalled off. But I I just wish that this could go down. This could happen fairly. It just seems like people are trying to make the whole thing unfair. Like you can really try as hard as you want to defame me, but I can tell you there are a lot of people that don't like me, but there aren't a lot of people who don't respect me. I don't care if you like me, but you will respect me, because I respect even the most quote unquote worthless person that I meet, I still respect and do my best to break through the barriers other people have built within people because of how they've been treated. Like, somebody's got something like messed up with the way that they look, or, they're fat or something like that. Like, yeah, they should probably exercise or whatever like that. But I'm just, hey, how you doing? Just like everybody else. Just like, same thing if you're a really, really attractive person or you're a really successful person. I'm still going to be like, hey, man, what's up? I'm not going to, oh, yes, sir. I'm not that guy. I mean, I'm professional at work, but that's work.
There's a saying in England, treat the Duchess the same as you do the dustman. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
anyway.
I think the dust man. Y'all have some interesting phraseology for people. I like that. The dust man sounds like a really bad superhero.
What do you call it? A garbage man?
Yeah, I call it garbage men, but it's just like I don't like calling them garbage men. They're more like refuse redistribution engineers or something like that. But people pick on garbage men, but somebody has to do that. And I say at Christmas, tip your garbage man for sure, or your dustman.
Yeah,
did you take some money out there for the dustman?
That's actually a tradition. You always leave a tip at Christmas for the milkman, the dustman, and the postman.
Y'all still have milk people?
Yeah.
No kidding. We got rid of that like 30 years ago. Maybe more than that. It's been more than that. We didn't have a milkman, but people used to talk about the milkman when we were little.
Yeah. Like too many of the kids look like the milkman. I sent you a couple of leads on interviews that would be interesting for you with your new American Freedom Radio gig. And another one that you might like to do, he's agreed to do one with me, but, I don't do this for a big, I'm not that way. But anyway, Jeffrey Mitchell, Hollywood, he would be a good person to interview subsequent to Dave McGowan, Weird Scenes in the Hollywood. What is it called? Weird Scenes in the Canyon. Anyway, so I'll keep doing that, and just trying to think if there's anything else. There was Jake, there was the Kenya Project attempted sting that backfired. What else was there? Oh, yeah. When you brushed off a little bit about, maybe it's not the police's job to investigate malicious communications online, but it's interesting that's what Nilu and Sabine are in court in London for on the 8th of April, supposedly intimidation of witnesses by posting things online. So how come the whistleblowers go to court for that and the police say, tell YouTube? Okay, your turn.
Well, it is YouTube's responsibility to police, but what I'm saying is, okay, if you're aware, and it's your job to be aware of what the laws are in your area. So what you need to do is to make sure that, it's dancing a dance, akin to walking on eggshells. You need to understand what it is that you can and cannot say. I mean, it's just, if you give them some way to hang you, they're gonna put the noose around your neck. So in truth telling, there's a couple of ways to go about it, but you got to be prepared to lie down and get fleas, basically, if you're gonna flout laws. And I'm not siding with one person or another, but if you're aware that something can be a problem, then it's up to you to make sure that you get your point across without crossing those lines. And I feel bad for anybody who is getting in trouble over something that they said. But if everything you said is true, then in the long term you don't have anything to worry about.
I know, but remember that guy you interviewed about the one that's going to Rome to do The one that's going to Rome to do a hunger strike?
Yes, that's Kevin Galloway.
Right. So in your estimation, he's a good guy just trying to get some truth out. And he described having his bank accounts emptied, having his name dragged through the mud, having his life ruined, having to go into hiding. I'm talking about that. If it was a level playing field.
They took his kids away from him.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm talking about in an ideal world, yeah, if you say something malicious and untrue, by all means you should be dealt with. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the likes of Sabine McNeill saying there needs to be a proper investigation. This is a credible report. I'm talking about the likes of Nilu saying they've covered this up. They withheld evidence. They intimidated witnesses. They made death threats, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a level playing field.
I don't even think I think there just needs to be a culture of ew going on. I think just like ew, not like a witch hunt, but just ugh, because it just needs to be. Because I don't want to seem xenophobic or something, but there's a perception of people in Europe. We have a perception of French people, a perception of other people around Europe, and just I love all types of people. I love the way British people tell stories. It's not like we tell stories at all. But yeah, I don't even know about investigation. I just think somebody needs to go, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going, yuck. Like what is happening over there? It's just the subject matter, the subject matter is horrible. And then some of the people who are detracting from the whatever is the official Hampstead story or whatever, I don't even know what to call any of that anymore, but they will repeat with no problem at all. They will repeat, and yeah, it is repeating, but they will repeat disgusting things that were on tape that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, which means it's just they're ew, yuck. Even if you didn't do something to somebody, the fact that you want to talk like that, yuck. Like
Yeah.
I'll just go ew.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, that's what the judge said in her supposed summary. She said, not only is this fantasy, but anybody who investigates it is evil and foolish.
Yeah, I saw that. I read that thing.
Yeah,
It's just like, my thing is, everybody's saying, this lady's a judge, and she said this. It's like, that lady is a person with a robe. That's it. Her opinion is no more educated than anybody else's. You want to read Black's Law Dictionary, or if you're in America, take your LSAT. It's easy. It's all logic. But anybody else has to provide evidence of their findings. Nobody else other than a judge gets to just write things down, sign their own name to it, and all of a sudden that's accepted as truth. Who gets to do that? Judges? And I guess if you're on the winning side of that, you get to go, oh well, the judge said so. But if you kind of skeptical, then I guess you're just going to end up in court, and that's not okay. That's like a judge then just becomes a king or like a little duke or something.
Yeah, it's a hierarchy. We have a caste system. That 4 judges recently stepped down because of having child pornography, and the only coverage in the mainstream media was somebody writing a fond article saying, oh, the poor things, nobody taught them how to do hide browsing. I mean, hello, and pulling up the rug, yeah, and going you, but surely if it was your child, your niece, your nephew, your neighbor's kid, and they're getting sodomized or they're getting brutalized, after you've said ew, you'd go and rescue them, wouldn't you?
I mean, I think the thing to do in that case would be to rally the people around the kids who actually can have a say, because in the final analysis, they're not your kids. But what you can do is make suggestions, and if people outright ignore it, look, there's some, not everybody's life is going to turn out great. That's the unfortunate thing about this, is like anybody who's already been abused they've already been touched by it. We just have to get a culture of
We can't save everybody.
A culture of deprogramming, a culture of understanding why you think what you think. Because honestly, I think some abuse victims are perpetuating the cycle of abuse without really even knowing that something's been done to them, and that's just really sad. You know, it's precarious and it's reckless and it hurts people, and those are hurt people. I think people who abuse people are just hurt people, and they need, you know, while their actions need to be condemned, they, you know, if you want to be psychologically sound about it, those people need love too. They might, you know, they need redemption and stuff like that, but they also need to pay for what they've done. It's just messed up, man. It's just why did anybody mess with a kid? Ugh, I don't want to talk about the mentality of that. It's just... Okay. Don't you remember being a kid?
There's more to go, but we're at the 45 minutes cutoff time, so I really appreciate the connection, and we'll do it again. And I have money, but I like it the way it's coming into you, $20, $100, $50. Every person that invests in that, they're investing in the children, in my opinion. You don't need $2,000. Somebody said, "Oh, his dad's rich. Why we got to help him?"
Look, you can either stick. I'm not getting into a thing with you. You either stick money in there or you don't. I make the trip when it hits, but you know, I'm not. Don't tell me there's money and then not stick it in there. That's weird.
No. Don't tell me you're coming and then not come. What I'm saying is... I told
you I'm coming when that thing is full. So if you have something to do with that, you do. If you don't, you don't. I appreciate what you're
I'm just saying, plan on coming. And if you don't want to come, make it not be about money, because money's not the issue. Okay, God bless. Love you. Bye.
Bye.